what's up, guys? Alright, so I got my rod bolts in, which I'm really happy. They're legit ones. I did not pay that price of 160. I paid 45 bucks. I don't know how the hell, but I ain't complaining. Anyhow, when I was going down here, I was looking. They're talking about, the 350, the 35, and they use these Pro Series wave lock bolts. They're ARP 2000s. Basically all this and talking about fatigue, 2200 psi, whatever, right? But then this is something that took my attention, just because these are fairly wide tolerances in factory bolt holes. They must be fit snugly and a knurl is applied. Unfortunately, these knurls cut deep into the material, leaving sharp edges and enormous stress risers that promote failure. That's why ARP has developed a wave lock design that features symmetrical waves and provides an effective interference fit without creating stress risers in the bolt or rod. So that got me kind of thinking that maybe this is the reason why these rods, fail. Hold on. Yeah, oh shit, that shit's mad close. But yeah, maybe that's the reason why these bolts fail. Maybe I need to find the recipe. Maybe the recipe is, since I'm opening up to do the, what's that shit called? The rod bolts and the the rings, that I'm gonna probably look and see if I can get a block guard. It's essentially still keeping this engine stock. I'm only gonna change out rod bolts and put a stock guard, and we'll see what happens. Maybe making 100 horsepower per cylinder to the crank should net me, easily, 500 to the wheel, which essentially isn't that much stress on the motor. Maybe that's just what we need to do. Same thing, I was talking to my brother-in-law. We were talking about, before they were talking about, like the LM7s or the LM3, I don't know, whatever, or probably the LM3s, because the LQ4s are the low compression 6.0 V8, and then the LQ9s are high compression. I don't know, some shit like that. But anyhow, regardless of what, they always said that, don't go with the LQ4s because they cracked since they got a bigger bore and all this shit. But then now, making fucking 1,000 horsepower like that on stock block. So this could be one of those things where it's just someone needs to find the recipe. I'm willing to find out. I'll run it, and if I can get it to last, more than a year, I don't know if I'm gonna keep it at 10 pounds or just push it up to 15 and see what the fuck happens. But I'll go, and I'm willing to try it out. And then if shit happens again, then we know that the rods are really weak, and then I could upgrade the rods, or I could just go with a VK or some other fucking motor. Alright guys, alright, so I came in the garage, I started searching and looking through that whole fucking mess. I don't even want to show up there. But anyhow, I ended up finding the rod cap that was damaged, as well as 2 rod bolts. And, really just for comparing and whatnot. You can kind of see that, the only, big difference that you can tell is the threads don't go down. Then it kind of appears that these might be a little bit more undercut, but it might just be the thing. I would need a mic to do that. But anyhow, like I said, here goes the one piston, rod that was messed up. So I'm gonna basically do a mock, and of course you're not going to do this on dirt and all that, but this is just for now. So when you're doing this, you get these locking tabs that you can see there. These essentially will go there, and then once you go here, you'll put it in like that, and then it'll slap in just like that. Same thing with this one. I don't know if it's not going to go in because this thing's got a big divot, but for what's that thing called, educational purposes, I'm gonna file it down. Alright, hold on. Alright, so I took out that little divot. I didn't try putting it in, but then again, put your lock, slide it in, and then bam, there you go. So then now when you're doing that, they actually make it where you got to make sure you align these. If you don't have it, you always got to put lock to lock, so meaning that this lock is going to be, you know, on that side of the lock. That's if you ever have pistons or rods that don't have those thingamabobbies. That's what you'll do. So put it lock to lock, and then I mean, I'm not going to torque these down, but just to kind of, you know, show that, yeah, they are the correct thread, and, you know, whatever the case. So, and then, you know, once you do that, then that's when you will do your 3-step torque settings and then go. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna upgrade these bad boys and see. Now I'm just curious. I'm gonna take this guy, but before I do that, I want to take this out because I don't want to damage anything, just in case. But I think the reason why I got these mad cheap is because someone returned them. I don't know, maybe they were building and then they thought that it was undercut, but the weight of one of these is, you know, far greater than this. So anyhow, just for thing, this. So once you torque it down and that, then that's, you know, as simple as that. Nothing too drastic. You know, building engines isn't difficult. It's just making sure you have all the right tolerances and whatnot. You know, if you blueprint. But in terms of, you know, assembling everything, yeah, that shit's, you know, easy. But don't let it deter you. Just jump into it. And then you see, once you do that, your oil gallery hole, what do you call it, is there too. That lines up, and that's what's up. So, oh well, I'm happy I got this shit. Now we're gonna find out what the hell's up. I need to find a block guard. But alright guys, later.